The dawn wasn't gentle. It rose like a blade, cutting the horizon open. Red light poured across the alien landscape, painting jagged rocks and skeletal trees in the glow of fresh blood. Ryan walked at the front of the small group, jaw tight, shoulders hunched as if bracing for a punch that never came. He had been a soldier long enough to know when silence was dangerous, and this silence was the kind that made his skin crawl. Behind him, Maya kept close, clutching the shard she had found the night before. It pulsed faintly, casting a pale glow across her fingers, and Ryan noticed she never let it go. Even when she slept in fits, she kept it pressed against her chest. He wanted to ask why, wanted to tell her to drop it, but something in her eyes told him she wouldn't listen. Not anymore. And then there was Ethan. Poor Ethan. The scientist stumbled at the rear, his cracked glasses sliding down his nose, his hands trembling as he dragged his backpack. His mind wasn't built for this kind of world. Ryan could see it, the way his lips moved, whispering equations and fragments of thoughts to himself, the way his eyes darted into shadows no one else looked at. He wasn't just tired, he was unraveling. The canyon rose in front of them, black walls cut smooth like glass, towering over their heads. Strange markings crawled across the stone, alien glyphs carved deep and glowing faintly, as though breathing with their own heartbeat. Ryan lifted his rifle instinctively. "Stay sharp." Maya stopped at the base of the wall, her hand trembling as she raised the shard. The glyphs responded, glowing brighter. The canyon lit up like a cathedral. "Oh my God," Ethan muttered, pushing his broken glasses higher. "It's reacting to her." Ryan stepped closer, his voice low and sharp. "Maya, put it down!" Her lips trembled, but she shook her head. I can't." Ryan clenched his jaw. "Not here, not now." He turned back to the markings and pressed his palm against one. He yanked it away instantly. "Shit," he hissed. "It's warm." Ethan gave a bitter laugh, one that didn't sound human anymore. "Of course it's warm. Of course stone bleeds light and heat. Why wouldn't it? This whole place is wrong." Ryan shot him a look. "You losing it on me, Doc?" Ethan met his eyes, hollow and dead tired. "I lost it the moment we woke up here. I'm just waiting for the rest of you to catch up." The ground rumbled under their feet. The glyphs pulsed. A low hum filled the canyon, vibrating through their bones so deep it rattled Ryan's teeth. Maya stiffened. Her pupils blew wide, her mouth fell open, and then she whispered, not in her own voice, "They're watching us." Ryan froze. The words hung heavy, poisonous. He grabbed her shoulders, shaking her lightly. "Maya, snap out of it." "Who's watching us?" Her eyes focused on him, suddenly wild and terrified. I don't know." "I swear I don't know." But she did. Ryan could see it in her face, and deep down so could Ethan. The hum faded, leaving behind a silence heavier than the sound itself. Ryan's grip tightened on his weapon. He didn't like this. Not one damn bit. They weren't just lost on some alien planet. They were in someone's territory, and someone knew they were here. The sun didn't set. It collapsed. One moment, the alien sky burned red. The next, it drowned in a flood of indigo, swallowing the canyon in shadows so thick Ryan could barely see his own hand. The glyphs dimmed as if they'd gone back to sleep, their faint light a cruel tease instead of comfort. The three of them set up a small camp near the canyon's mouth. Ryan kept his rifle across his knees, eyes sweeping the jagged ridges above. He hadn't spoken in an hour, but his silence wasn't calm, it was coiled. Maya crouched a few feet away, clutching that shard against her chest like a lifeline. Its glow flickered softly, just enough to carve her face out of the dark. She looked younger like that, fragile, afraid. For a second, Ryan saw the rookie medic she used to be, all nerves and too much heart, patching up soldiers who were twice her size. But that softness was gone now, replaced by something harder, something he couldn't read. And Ethan was unraveling fast. He sat cross-legged, scribbling formulas into the dirt with a shaking stick. His muttering never stopped. Fragments of math, broken whispers of physics, and sometimes words that weren't English. Ryan finally snapped. "Doc, you're spooking her. Knock it off." Ethan didn't even look up. "It's not math. It's memory. This place, it's familiar. Like déjà vu stretched over a nightmare." Ryan scowled. "We've never been here." Ethan lifted his head. His glasses caught the shard's faint glow, and for a second his eyes looked like hollow sockets. "Haven't we?" The silence stretched. Then a crack, Stone shifting, Ryan was on his feet instantly, rifle raised, finger near the trigger. His training screamed ambush. Maya. Light. She lifted the shard and its glow flared brighter. Spilling across the canyon floor, the shadows weren't empty anymore. Figures moved along the ridges, slender. Too tall, their limbs bent at angles that hurt to look at. They didn't walk. They slithered, like shadows given bones. Ryan's voice dropped to a growl. Don't move. Maya's breath hitched, but she stayed still, then laughed, a broken, unhinged sound. I knew it. I knew we weren't alone. The creatures froze, as if the sound drew their attention, and then, like wolves that had found the weakest prey, they moved. Fast, Ryan fired. The muzzle flash lit the canyon like a lightning storm. One shadowy figure shrieked, its body shattering into smoke. But more came. Maya, move! Ryan barked, grabbing her arm. Ethan didn't move. He just stood there, his hands limp at his sides, eyes wide with some strange recognition. They're not enemies, he whispered. They're shepherds. Before Ryan could react, one of the shadows surged from above, its claws hooking into Ethan's shoulders. He screamed, not in pain, but in acceptance. No, Maya cried, lunging forward. But Ryan yanked her back. The last thing they saw was Ethan's pale face dragged upward into the dark, his glasses falling and shattering on the stone, and then he was gone. The canyon fell silent. The shadows melted into the walls as if they'd never been there. Maya shook, her hands digging into Ryan's arm. We can't just let him. Ryan's jaw was clenched so hard it ached. His chest heaved with rage. We didn't let anything. They took him. She turned on him, eyes burning. And what if they come back for us? Ryan glanced at the shard in her grip. It pulsed harder now, like it had a heartbeat of its own. They won't need to. He exhaled through his teeth, grim. Because we're going after them. The words felt heavy, dangerous. But in that moment, Ryan knew two things. Ethan wasn't dead. Not yet. Whatever had taken him wanted something. And they weren't just going to hide, they were going to find out what. The canyon didn't feel empty anymore. Every stone, every ripple of shadow felt like eyes. Watching, waiting, Ryan moved first. Rifle up, boots crunching against gravel as he dragged Maya with him. Her shard lit the path, a trembling lantern in a sea of black. They didn't talk. Not really. What words could they use after watching Ethan vanish into the claws of something that shouldn't exist? But then, as the canyon narrowed into a jagged throat of stone, Ryan broke the silence. You still got his glasses? Maya nodded quickly, clutching the cracked frames she'd scooped up in the chaos. Don't lose him. His voice was flat, but his jaw ticked. We'll need something to remind him who he is, if... He didn't finish the sentence. The air grew colder the deeper they went, like the planet itself exhaled frost. Their breath fogged, and the shard in Maya's hands pulsed harder with every step. Finally, the canyon spat them out into an open plain, and that's when they saw it. The ruins. An entire city carved from black stone, stretching across the valley like a graveyard for gods. Towering spires pierced the clouds, their tips broken and jagged. Bridges connected cliffs, some collapsed into the abyss below. At the center, a ziggurat-like structure rose above all others, its surface crawling with faint glyphs. Maya stopped dead, her eyes wide. Ryan, this isn't just ruins. This is the prison. Ryan glanced at her. How do you know? She held up the shard. The glow had intensified, now pulsing in rhythm with the glyphs on the ziggurat. Before Ryan could answer, her sound split the silence. A scream, Ethan's scream. It echoed from deep within the ziggurat. Maya bolted forward, but Ryan grabbed her by the arm, yanking her back. So you run in there blind, we're both dead. She spun on him, fury blazing in her eyes. He's alive. We can't just stand here. Ryan leaned in, his voice low but sharp. You think I don't want to? You think I don't hear that? But if we don't do this smart, those things are going to tear us apart before we even get close. She swallowed hard, chest heaving, but finally gave a single nod. Ryan scanned the ruins. His soldier's eye caught the movements, shadows sliding along walls, curling around broken pillars. Guardians, dozens of them. Maybe more. And then, as if to welcome them, the glyphs across the city flared to life. Ryan muttered under his breath. Guess stealth's off the table. From the ziggurat's base, two figures emerged. Not like the shadows before, these were solid. Alien warriors, tall and armored in obsidian plating that shimmered with faint light. Their faces were hidden behind smooth masks, and in their hands they carried weapons that looked like living blades, rippling with dark energy. Maya whispered, "What the hell are those?" Ryan chambered around. "Doesn't matter. They bleed, they die," the first warrior lunged. Faster than anything Ryan had ever seen. He barely rolled in time, the alien blade slicing the air where his chest had been. Sparks flew as it bit into stone. Ryan fired point blank. The impact sent the warrior staggering back, ichor spraying from the wound, but it didn't drop. It roared, a sound that rattled his teeth, and charged again. Maya shrieked. The second warrior had gone for her. She raised the shard instinctively, and the world exploded in light. The alien was thrown back, its armor cracking like glass. The shard's glow had become blinding, a weapon all its own. Maya stared at it in shock. Ryan didn't waste the moment. He fired again, this time a clean shot to the first warrior's throat. It collapsed, twitching. But before relief could sink in, the other warrior dragged itself up, snarling. Its mask shattered, revealing a face like stretched bone and ember-filled eyes. It pointed at Maya. The ground beneath her feet cracked. Ryan tackled her just as the stone erupted, spears of black rock stabbing upward where she'd been. They both rolled, Ryan firing blind, Maya clutching the shard like her life depended on it, because it did. The alien hissed, its body flickering between solid and shadow. Before retreating toward the ziggurat, Ryan pushed himself up, chest heaving. "They're guarding him." Maya scrambled to her knees, her face pale. "Then we go in." Ryan hesitated, then nodded once. His voice was iron. "Yeah, we go in." But in his gut, he knew something terrifying. They hadn't been fighting to kill them. They'd been testing them. The ziggurat loomed over them like a mountain carved by demons. Each tier of black stone seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat, and the glyphs crawling across its surface writhed as if alive. Maya gripped the shard tightly, its glow synchronizing with the glyphs. "It's calling me," she whispered. Ryan adjusted his rifle and scanned the shadows crawling across the walls. "Yeah, well, tell it to shut up. We're not here for it. We're here for Ethan." But the moment they stepped onto the first stair, the air shifted, heavy, like wading into invisible water. Ryan's muscles strained just to move. Maya stumbled, gasping. "Gravity field," Ryan muttered through clenched teeth. "They don't want us getting in." Every step was a war. The stone radiated heat, searing through their boots. The walls hummed with an alien rhythm that wormed into their skulls. By the time they reached the mid-tier, sweat poured down Ryan's face, and Maya's lips trembled from exhaustion. And then the voice came. Not out loud. Inside their heads, a chorus, layered and ancient. "You are not welcome." Maya clutched her temples, groaning. "It knows my name." Ryan pulled her close, scanning the shadows. "Ignore it, focus." But the voice grew louder with each step. "You trespass. You carry what was sealed. Return it or be unmade." The shard pulsed violently, fighting against Maya's grip. She screamed, falling to her knees. Ryan dropped beside her. "Maya, hold on." She shook her head, tears streaking her dirt-caked cheeks. "It wants me to give it back. Ryan, it's tearing me apart." Before he could answer, the ziggurat itself reacted. The walls opened, stone folding like skin, revealing rows of alien statues, except they weren't statues. Their eyes lit up. Ryan cursed. "Move!" The first guardian stepped forward, obsidian armor creaking, blade humming with sickly light. Then another, and another. Within seconds, a dozen of them encircled the stairs. Ryan opened fire, bullets sparking against their armor. A few staggered, but most pressed forward, relentless. Maya raised the shard. A wave of blinding light exploded outward, hurling 3 guardians off the stairs into the abyss below. She collapsed, gasping. "I can't keep doing that." Ryan dragged her up. "Then we don't fight them all. We run." They bolted up the stairs, guardians closing in. One nearly cleaved Ryan in half, its blade grazing his vest. Another leapt at Maya, but she ducked under its swing and smashed the shard into its chest. It shrieked, body collapsing into dust, step by step, blood pounding in their ears. They forced their way up until finally, they reached the massive doorway at the top. Inside was silence. The chamber stretched wider than any cathedral, lit by a dim blue glow from crystals embedded in the ceiling. At the center hung Ethan, suspended in the air by tendrils of light. his body limp, eyes wide open but unfocused. Symbols crawled across his skin like brands, Maya sobbed. "Ethan!" Ryan raised his rifle, scanning the shadows. "Trap. Has to be." The voice returned, thunderous now, filling every corner of the chamber. "One of you carries the key. The other will break." The air rippled. From the far end of the chamber, something emerged. Not a guardian, not a shadow. A being taller than all the others, its body draped in shimmering plates of black metal. Its face was a mask of bone etched with glowing glyphs. In its hand, it held a staff taller than Ryan. The air warped around it with every step. Maya's breath hitched. "It's the Warden." The being's gaze fixed on her. "On the shard, return what was stolen, or he dies." The tendrils around Ethan tightened, his body convulsing in pain. His muffled scream echoed through the chamber. Maya took a step forward, hands trembling, shard glowing like a dying star. "Ryan, if I give it back, maybe—" Ryan cut her off, voice sharp and desperate. "No, that thing isn't bargaining. It's stalling." The Warden raised its staff. Ethan screamed louder, his body arching as light carved deeper into his skin. Ryan aimed his rifle at the Warden's skull, finger on the trigger. His mind raced. Fight, bluff, sacrifice. Maya clutched the shard, torn between her brother's life and the nightmare pressing down on them. The Warden's voice thundered one last time. "Choose. The key, or the boy." The chamber shook, crystals raining from above. Ethan's scream split the air. Ryan shouted, "Maya, don't you dare!" And then the shard pulsed so violently it exploded in light, drowning the chamber in white. We leave the audience with, did Maya give up the shard or did it awaken something else? And is Ethan even still human?